Oh my god, BooTube. Around 12 something a.m., I started recording for The Flash, Season 3, Episode 1, and Arrow, Season 5, Episode 1, titled Flashpoint and Legacy, respectively. I started Flash, the recording around like 12 something, and I ended up with 2 videos, part 1 and part 1.5. And then I started doing with Arrow, and that ended up with just 1 video, which is part 1. And unfortunately for me, all 3 videos disappeared. 2 of them I couldn't upload because they went over 15 minutes. And for some reason they disappeared shortly after that, off my YouTube and off my actual phones. I was like, okay, I have to redo this. So this is The Flash, Season 3, Episode 1, titled Flashpoint. I'm gonna do the main bullet points. I'm not gonna go into major detail unless I get pretty much rushed out, judging by time. So, from what I remember, hang on for a sec, guys. My bad. But anyway, judging by the end of Season 4 and the beginning of Season 4, I'm thinking about Arrow, I'm sorry. At the end of Season 2 and the beginning of Season 3 of Flash, we saw that Barry went back in the past again. Freaking Barry. And this time he actually prevented Eobard Thawne, aka Reverse Flash, from killing his mother, Nora Allen. And apparently, we leave off from there. And hang on, what the heck? My bad, I thought I heard something. But anyway, we leave off pretty much directly after Season 2, after Barry stops Eobard Thawne from killing his mother. Barry pretty much returns with Eobard to the present and imprisons him in this cage. And apparently this cage dampens his speed because we all know speedsters, they could vibrate their molecules and go through solid objects. So Eobard could not even go through a cage. So I'm only guessing that this cage was designed to pretty much dampen speeds of speedsters, right? Anyway, and we get this entirely new timeline that Barry pretty much creates because he saved his mother, which is pretty much like if you read the comics and you even watched the animated movie Flashpoint Paradox, you will know that Barry saving his mother has turned into a whole new different timeline. Obviously, Nora is alive, but like, there are some interesting changes. For example, both of Barry's parents, both Nora and his father, are both alive in this, but apparently there's some kinks in this new timeline. For instance, like Joe West apparently has been getting in a lot of trouble at work. We all know that in the original timeline, Joe is like upstanding citizen in the police department, you know what I mean? And all of a sudden now he's apparently always getting in trouble. He's hardly ever there. And also, apparently, Joe has a very bad, really poor relationship with both of his kids, Iris and Wally. Yes, Iris and Wally do still exist in this new timeline, but Joe has a bad relationship with the both of them. And he's horrible in work. Not really horrible, but he's getting in a lot of trouble at work, right? And I thought this was funny. Eobard Thawne actually is the one that pretty much dubbed this new timeline Flashpoint, which I was like, roll credits, right? But anyway, I thought it was kind of funny how he's the one that dubbed the new timeline. I mean, the bad guy dubbing the new timeline. Who would have thought that? I would have think like Cisco, because Cisco likes naming all the villains, so you would thought that he would dub the new timeline. But then again, in the beginning of this entire episode, we don't know what happened to Cisco or Caitlin, right? But anyway, if I remember correctly, there was one point where Barry does witness a fight between apparently a new Flash in this timeline, whose color scheme looks very much like Kid Flash. But he's struggling against his very own speedster nemesis, who is apparently titled The Rival. And I'm not gonna lie to you, if Cisco heard that name, he'd be like, you guys suck at naming. I'm just saying, that's a horrible name for a nemesis. I get that he is technically the rival to this new speedster's, because they're both speedsters and everything, but seriously, the rival, that's a horrible name. But I did look up the name. Hang on. Let me get on that. Hang on. Please please, YouTube, please don't ban me because I started singing that. But anyway, you can tell by the color scheme that this is not any normal Flash, and we already saw the actor post a picture of himself in a Kid Flash uniform. So let's get into that. Hang on, wait. The actor in general, I forgot his name, but I will get back into that. Hang on for a sec. I'm sorry, I've been hearing like all kinds of noises, and it's like disturbing the heck out of me right now. But anyway, let's get into Kid Flash. We all know Kid Flash as the Flash's partner, sidekick. Everyone knows him because he had the iconic, also red and yellow outfit, but the outfit was more prominently yellow than red. Remember, the Flash was more red than yellow, but Kid Flash was more yellow and red. And you know how the Flash's outfit like covered majority of his head, with the exception of his eyes and his mouth area? Yeah, Kid Flash was the same. The only difference was the top of his suit was like not covered, so you could see his hair, right? Everyone knows also the fact that the original Kid Flash, aka Wally West, was a Caucasian guy with red hair, and they said that this Wally West in this show is a cross between the Wally West we all know and love in the comics, which was the Caucasian ginger, and also the New 52 kid, which is Wally West II. If you guys remember, Wally West II is now part of the main continuum because of the New 52 and the rebirth. His name is Wally West II. He is the third and current Kid Flash in the DC comic universe. He appeared in the Flash Annual Volume 4, number 3, if I remember correctly. And apparently he is the son of the fifth Reverse Flash, whose name is Daniel West. And apparently Wally West II is the cousin to the first Kid Flash, which is our favorite Ginger. So in a weird freaking way, this Wally West, Kid Flash, in this TV show, is a cross between Wally West from the comics and his actual cousin, Wally West II, which is pretty funny if you ask me, right? So anyway, getting into that, hang on. I also looked up The Rival, and when I looked him up for some oddball reason, The Rival showed up under Reverse Flash. And when I looked it up, I finally understood why. Apparently, Edward Claris, who is the real name of this Rival guy, right? In this new timeline, which is Flashpoint, I'm going to refer to this timeline as Flashpoint from now on. The Rival's real name in the show is Edward Claris, and I looked him up in the comics. He is still Edward Claris, aka The Rival, but apparently he was a professor at a university that the Golden Age Flash, Jay Garrick, attended. And he also became a speedster who wore an outfit just like Jay Garrick, but just completely dark, and a mask that covered his whole face. And, yeah, basically, I think the reason why he's put under Reverse Flash is, in a way, The Rival was pretty much the Reverse Flash to Jay Garrick's Flash, you know what I mean? And I found it highly interesting that he is here in this Flashpoint paradox thing going on, and quite frankly, I find it confusing how someone from the Golden Age comics shows up in Flashpoint. But then again, we did get confirmation that the Jay Garrick that we saw in season 2, that was the doppelganger to Barry's dad, we did get confirmation that he is coming back as the Flash again. So maybe that's the reason why they showed up. You know, they brought Edward Claris, aka The Rival, here in Flashpoint. I don't know. But anyway, we get some bad moments where during Barry's happiness, you know, his parents are alive, he has some good times with them. He reunites with Iris, but of course Iris doesn't know him, right? And, you know, he meets her for the first time and, you know, asks for a date the first time also, which is pretty cool. And she says yes. Everything seems to be going well. There's like a new Flash, aka Kid Flash, and he's, you know, protecting the city and everything seems alright. But all of a sudden, though, Barry starts losing memories of the original timeline, from his original timeline. And he gets actual answers from Eobard, and Eobard actually tells him that because he saved Nora Allen and created the Flashpoint timeline, the new timeline is pretty much taking over and becoming permanent. And when it becomes permanent, everything from the original timeline that we all know and love for the first 2 seasons of The Flash will pretty much disappear permanently. And the new timeline, which is Flashpoint, will pretty much stick, right? And everything from the original timeline, which is basically the first 2 seasons of Flash, will pretty much disappear, which also includes Barry's memories as the Flash. So that's not good. Barry will soon forget that he was ever the Flash if this keeps up, right? And if I remember correctly, Barry at one point sees Kid Flash, right, fighting the rival again, and he manages to save him just a little bit. I wouldn't really say save. He did use his tornado hand trick, but it wasn't strong enough, and Kid Flash still fell in a dumpster, and he's like knocked unconscious, right? Barry actually finds out that Kid Flash is in fact Wally. We all knew this because the actor himself revealed himself in costume, right? But Barry finds out, and he also finds out that Wally is his secret base is pretty much like his apartment or his wherever he's living, and the fact that Wally is teamed up in a superhero team with his own sister Iris, right? And Barry pretty much reveals that he is also a Flash, right? And he also manages to find Cisco and Caitlin in this timeline, only the fact that they're very much different. Cisco is not a scientist, tech, mech kind of guy. He is a billionaire tech inventor, basically, and he pretty much bought Star Labs for his own little boss space, right? And Caitlin is pretty much an eye doctor for kids, a pediatric eye doctor. And he pretty much reveals to all 4 of them that he's the Flash, and that he's the one that created this timeline, because he went back in time and all that stuff. None of them believe them, with the exception of Iris, because apparently Iris is like, you know, this whole time something's been missing, and for some oddball reason, the moment I met you, didn't have that feeling anymore. So a part of Iris pretty much knew that this timeline she's living in is not real, right? And I thought that was pretty cool. And I know I seem like I'm rambling a lot, but like I said, I'm only getting to the main bullet points. I'm not going to go into major detail. And, yeah, Barry pretty much reveals to all 4 of them after pretty much kidnapping poor Caitlin. But, the reason why Cisco got brought into this is because when Barry finds out about Wally being Kid Flash and that he's teamed up with his sister, they figure that, they're gonna need some help, you know, with helping Barry at the same time defeating the rival. So Wally and Iris said there's only one person that can help them, and that person apparently is Cisco. And Cisco is apparently the one that made Kid Flash's suit, right? And that's when pretty much Barry kidnaps Caitlin, and we find out she's an eye doctor for kids. But anyway, Barry pretty much teams up with Wally saying, I'll help you take down the rival, and you guys have to help me figure out how to stop my memories from, you know, completely disappearing, right? But anyway, before I get into the end, I'm running out of time. I'm gonna stop it, because when I reached 15, all hell broke loose, and that's not happening again. So I'm gonna stop it right here, and I'll see you guys in a part 2, or possibly just part 1.5. So I'll see you guys in the next video, okay? Bye, BooTube.